exploitation. In Mitra village, they call 808 a lucky launching pad. So, I hope this luck continues. With the funds raised today, we're hoping to raise 25,000 to launch a computer program under the leadership of Niti Sandhu. We want to launch a cultural program thanks to the kind donation of Ashwini Bhave. And in the pipeline, we have a sports program under the leadership of Niti Sandhu's son Gurbaz. How old are you? 60? 60, okay. I'm sorry, I just have to tell you his story. He was 13 years old when he visited Mijwa as part of the EEP program with the goal of teaching the village girls conversation English through a game of soccer. He was appalled to see that the village girls had no shoes and were running barefoot. So unfortunately, he didn't succeed in teaching them soccer, but guess what is the other way around? The village girls taught him their village game Kho. Then he started a sports program. He created a Kho team that spread to the neighboring villages. It gets even better. He raised money to buy tennis shoes for all the village girls. Yes. And now he wants to raise money for a professional sports coach. Yes. And I know the Mijwa dreams will come true. And why is that so? Because the right hand is Mijwa and the left hand is HOH. And when the two hands join together, things are going to happen. So, I really thank all of you here today for giving us a helping hand. Please join hands with us. Hold our hands. And in that note, I hand the mic to our chief guest, Shabana.
There we go.
Just make sure.
So basically, I went to Visual a couple years ago, and when I went there, it really left an impact on me. I realized how lucky I am, how fortunate I am, and how much they need our help, my help, and what they needed. I knew that they were getting educational value, they were learning English, they were getting all this, but I wanted them to have fun. So I decided that I would teach them soccer. And I tried my best. I went there, and I didn't succeed, as Monty told you, but I did succeed at helping them. I realized how many issues they had outside of just learning English, that they didn't have shoes, they needed all these sorts of things. So when I came back, I said I need to help them in any way possible. And what I decided to do was to raise money for shoes so that they could, they wouldn't have blisters on their foot when they walk, they could walk home, they could go to school, and they would be fine. And also my long-term vision goal is to create an academy in Visual for them to be trained, and then we can find talent there, and we can create tournaments, district level tournaments for them to compete in. And we can, because I know there are talented people in these villages, and they're just waiting to be discovered. And that's my goal, is to find them, and to help them, and to train them.
Thank you, young man. You truly are an inspiration. Thank you, Puneet, for that wonderful introduction. I don't know where you are. Thank you, Shivani and Karthik, for having us at your home and for hosting this evening. I'd like to begin by thanking Home of Hope, because this is not really just a partnership. There's something much more than that, and anybody who knows Nilima knows that she has a way of connecting, which is beyond that of just partnership. I'm really grateful for all the help that we've got from Home of Hope. I'm grateful and thankful to Nalini Bhatt, who was the first project manager there, and now We have Niti Sandhu. I'm very thankful to Marti and her team for the wonderful work that you have done with the English Empowerment Program through Skype. Thank you very much, all of you. And now, thank you for all of you to be here. I don't mean to take much of your time. Nilima has told you quite a lot about the project. I would just like to say that I think it's best that I start with a couplet from my father's poetry, which is प्यार का जश्न नई तरह मनाना होगा, प्यार का जश्न नई तरह मनाना होगा, गम किसी दिल में सही गम को मिटाना होगा. So basically all of us are here, we are all in privileged positions, and I think each one of us knows the pain of migration and knows what it means to leave home. I'm fond of saying that India is a country that lives in several centuries simultaneously. We have people living back to back in the 18th, 19th, 20th and 21st century. And her people at any given time and place encapsulate all the contradictions that come from being multilingual, multi-religious, multicultural society. And so it is true of India that anything you claim, the opposite is also always true. So you can claim that there are many empowered women in India. You can claim that with some pride that we had a prime minister. We were amongst the first countries to have a prime minister who was a woman. You had a president who was a woman. You have many members of parliament who are women, etc., etc., in the corporate world. But it's true that female feticide is also practiced today and now in India. I would like to begin by telling you the kind of poverty that I've seen. See, my father was always involved because he was a member of the Communist Party. Till the age of 9, I used to live in a room which was just 225 square foot. And 8 families shared a flat. We had one common toilet and we had one common bathroom for 8 families. But we were all together in the spirit of gender justice, social justice in creating a better world. Having said that, my parents always believed that art should be used as an instrument for social change. And I was aware of things, but it was much later that I realized. And one of the most impactful things that happened to me was I went to Rajasthan during a very severe drought. And because I was actually going to be collecting funds. And I said, before I collect funds for this drought, I must actually go to the village and see for myself what it means. There I met a woman whose husband had gone to the city in search of work. She had a 4-year-old child with her who was clinging on to her bhagra, and she had a child at her breast. And she told me the story that the drought has hit them really badly and that her husband's gone away and all that. And I didn't know what to do, and at that moment I had a banana in my hand. And so I gave that banana to that 4-year-old child. And the child just took the banana and put it under his arm and looked at me totally impassively. And I told the mother, I said, I've given him a banana, why isn't he eating it? And she said, he ate yesterday, he will now only eat tomorrow. A mother had taught a 4-year-old child to feel hunger once in 2 days. And that is what we are dealing with even now. This situation cannot change unless we empower our villagers and make sure that people do not have to go into the city in search of work where they're forced to live in slums. What is important is that we must recognize that 80% of India lives in her villages. And my father, Kafi Azmi's dream was that if we talk about progress, we cannot talk about it until and unless we focus on our villages and make the girl child the fulcrum and the focus of that development. And that's how Mijwa started. Mijwa was a village in which he was born, He belonged to a Zamindar family. During partition, his parents and the rest of the family went away. He became a member of the Communist Party and he gave away his entire land to the village in the communist dream of the tiller must own the soil. 40 years later, when he revisited, after he had a brain hemorrhage which rendered his left arm and his left leg incapacitated, and he came back and found a village frozen in time and decided to give up all the comforts of medical benefit that he could get in Bombay and actually come and live in the village. And then he started work with these girls. Now, the work that has happened due to partnerships with many, many wonderful people. But what I see now, which I find very, very deeply satisfying, is that I can see palpably that there is a mindset change. We must recognize that in a deeply patriarchal society like India, girls are discriminated from birth. That's if they're allowed to be born at all, because then they can be killed for just being girls. After that, they don't have equal access to education, they don't have equal access to health, they don't have equal access to any decision about their own lives. And until we change that, it's not going to change for the better. And what we now have to offer after all these years that we are working in Mijwa is that change, that transformation, where girls now have a sense of self-worth, they understand who they are, and they accept and expect equality, which for years of tradition they have never recognized. I'll tell you the story about the story that Nilima referred to, that these were girls as young as 12 and they would come to school with sindoor in their mouth, and I would say, but this is illegal, you can't do it. But years of tradition, and there was nothing that you can do to take that away. Well, finally these girls, they made a play against dowry themselves. They wrote it because they were in touch with what is happening around them, and they went for the first time out of Mijwa to Jaipur, and there was an interstate competition in which they came first.
Wow.
Now this girl, imagine, she picked up that award and she said, this is not just an award. For me, it is my passport to freedom. Because on the basis of this, I will now tell my parents that I have ambitions and I refuse to get married before 18. She came back to the school. She asked for an assembly. She got the principal and the teachers and the girls, and she spoke about this, and she made all of them take a vow that if any girl was pressured into marriage before 18, they would do a dharna outside their home. So she was the one who inspired the principal and the teachers, and consequently not only in Mijwa but all the 25 villages, no girl gets married before the age of 18. To me, that is transformation, a mindset change where women who were looked upon as liabilities are now being looked upon as assets, because they are creating work which Naomi Campbell is wearing, which Priyanka Chopra is wearing, which Aishwarya Rai is wearing. They have created installations, art installations, which are in the Mumbai Terminal International Airport. So they're getting a real sense of self. The fact that they're able to open bank accounts, that we insisted that they should have bank accounts, it seems like a very small thing. But when you insist and they do it, it's the process of empowerment, because they know the value of money. It's not coming through their husbands anymore. And now there is an ATM, and so they're able to withdraw money. These seem like small steps, but I cannot tell you how major they are in transforming the way women think about themselves. Because the whole thing about patriarchy is, not only does it impact society, it also impacts women, because they internalize the fact that they are inferior to men. And when you empower them, you change that. You change the idea of themselves, and you realize that this can only be possible through education, which the school provides, through computer education, which opens up the world for them, and employment generation, which is what you get when you're working for Manish Malhotra. And there is a share of Majoo Sultanpuri, which I think really fits the situation very well. मैं अकेला ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल मगर, मैं अकेला ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल मगर, लोग साथ आते गए और कारवां बनता गया. तो आप सब लोगों ने ये कारवां बनाया, आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Javed just told me that I must recognize over here that just this time we got a bus with the State Bank of India gave us for our girls, and so that's saving the mobility problem, and that Pankaj Munjal of Hero Hondas has given them 50 bicycles and has promised that he'll give them 50 bicycles every year. So it's really, really, really helped from people such as yourself. Thank you very much for hearing me. Thank you.